example, I'm here showing my ArcGIS urban model. This is of Knoxville, Tennessee. ArcGIS Urban is an immersive 3D planning platform that's meant to unite communities, planners. So this platform is primarily used in my case to plan different scenarios around TOD and development. But we can also bring in analysis that we've done from walk time or drive time buffers around the transit line from 5 and 10 minutes, and we could do walk time as well. So, and then overlay that with the service for the bus lines, and you can see where they overlap. So that includes the trolley system in downtown. Um, so we can have the realistic buildings. We'll turn all this off. Or we can do schematic models of the downtown area, and actually our models go further out into the county. This was all extracted from LiDAR using the Esri local government tools. And you can see all of the projects that we have. These are all the projects going on throughout Knox County. And you can see at what status they are, proposed, under review. We open one up, you can see project webpage, you can see a description, and in our case, we were able to partner with the developer, partner with the architect, and actually bring in a Revit model, and we can go back to our satellite view to get a really realistic feel. And there's several tools from measure distance, measure area, line of sight, and splice. Measure distance and measure area are pretty self-explanatory, but line of sight allows you to see, let's say, from the top of this, or actually let's go, so from this deck right here, if we were able to stand out there. Actually, let's do this. We'll put it right here on this door. We'll get right here. So from this spot, we can see how, where we would be able to see, including that sign right there. We can see the building, see obstruction, and it's dynamic with all of the different models that we bring in. And looking back towards downtown, we can see that from this point of view, we would not be able to see much of the downtown skyline, unless it's pretty high up. But it looks like we would be able to see the World's Fair Sun Sphere. Oh, it looked like it was going to, okay, it did. There we go. So we can also use these tools, I'll pan back around, to slice. So we'll just put this over the top of the building and bring that down. You can explore the building. We can see where the water fountains are going to go or how the bathrooms are going to look. Now, if that's not realistic enough, we can also bring in our street level imagery from Mapillary. And if you just navigate until it's just right, you can see your proposed development side by side with street level conditions. We'll just open this up real quick. So within the plan, you're given pretty powerful library uh, of of decorations and ornaments. So you can put trees in, cars, etc. You can add feedback. So you see feedback, my feedback here. It's put in the comments. You can zoom to these. You can also set these up to be different categories. You can actually turn on and off the different layers and explore them one by one if it's set up for that. This model really isn't organized for that, but it does show some functionality there. So moving into our plans here, uh, we have a zoning plan. So if we open this up, so you can see the underlying zoning here. And this is kind of just a rubbish site here in the middle of a redevelopment area. It's kind of ripe for doing something good with it. So I just reorganized these parcels using the built-in tools and proposed buildings and types for this area. And so I'll just demonstrate real quick. You can change the building. Or change it back. We can alternate it. We can do different styles. Or we can create our own or edit the existing types. Once we arrive at a plan that we think is acceptable, we can take this out to CityEngine, which I have already done. We can add streets. We can add some pedestrian paths in the middle. We can skin the buildings and then export them back out to the scenario. And now we have some more realistic skins on the buildings. And you can see our streets are brought in, although we have a little bit of clipping here. So instead of the colorized massings, actually from a bird's eye view, this looks, quite similar to, kind of blends in a lot better with what's around it. Now, this can be exported out to Unreal Engine. And actually, let's do that. We can export that out to Unreal Engine through the Datasmith. And what I'm really interested in doing is CCM for Unreal. If you want the immersive game experience, it may not be good enough for that, but it should be good enough for urban planning workflows. So pretty much anywhere in the world, you can bring this in. and it just keeps going out, as you can see here. And I would do this workflow, but it does cost money to add this. So yeah, so I'll show this one. This is more of a TOD area, and you can see a whole bunch of different metrics that I've driven here. Future land use, schematic, massing model here, which is more realistic than maybe the original one. And land use. Land use plans proposing a creative district, the retaining of a river walk here in the riverfront area, and adding, mixed use commercial. Custom indicators that I've made is a value map for all of the parcels in Knox County. So you can see a parcel's tax value generated by its acreage, which you can see downtown. The high density buildings obviously perform much better than low density development at the periphery, which was the object of that. So showing that high dense mixed use development surrounded by or that surrounds dedicated transit lines have a much better opportunity to produce good tax returns for the community itself and limit infrastructure needs. At this point, I'm going to show just some previous work that I've done. This is a dark sky tourism initiative for Pickett CCC State Park in Tennessee. We did a project funded by the Appalachian Regional Commission in collaboration with the park and the University of Tennessee. Did a plan for their field. It's kind of like a backfield, but they have been wanting this park, and this area has some of the darkest skies on the East Coast, which makes it really great for a sustainable tourism initiative. So what we did is proposed some changes to this backfield that would attract the kind of tourism they needed. So we worked with astronomy groups, the rangers, the Appalachian Regional Commission, like I said, and came up with a plan that met the needs of all the stakeholders, and in addition to actually being attainable. This is a proposal that I worked on for the kind of a rail station slash headquarters for a proposed regional transit authority for the light rail line. It's not really put in anywhere, but you can see kind of the station dynamic, the green roof I put on, some of the textures and changes and or customizations, different things that I did with this design. So yeah, it's quite nice. It has a nice feel to it. The last thing I'm going to show is this simulation software that I work in, thinking outside the box to develop transit proposals. I was able to take the Norfolk Southern track charts, the engineering charts with the grades and the curvatures and geolocations, and import it into a actual simulation software. So taking that same plan that we had in ArcGIS Urban and CityEngine and kind of putting those tracks down in a train software. From this, we're able to do scheduling, ride-alongs, and here in a few minutes, you'll Let's keep going here. You can see I've done some, I have the river put in over the waterfront, and I'm starting to show some of the redevelopment for the scenario. So, as you can see, we're right over the bridge, right over the South Knox waterfront, and it's not finished, it's not complete, and there's a whole segment here that we could go through, but just, showing some out of the box ways to do planning and make it special, make it immersive, but also deriving schedulings, and we were able to do passing sightings using this, so knowing when the trains are going to run into each other, where we need to put extra track, set speed limits, and experiment with different vehicles that could potentially be used, different performance standards that can come along with that. So this is uh, this is what I do. Part of what I do, I would like to get your feedback and just really just kind of show you what I'm capable of, what I've been working on.